Welcome to this week's edition of Black Authors Matter TV, where we interview the latest movers and shakers in the African American literary community. You'll meet some old friends, discover new ones, and stay abreast of the latest book developments around the country and even the world. So sit back and relax for the next 2 hours with Black Authors Matter TV co-hosts Gwen Richardson and Dr. Rhonda Lawson.
Good evening and welcome to the latest edition of Black Authors Matter TV. I'm Gwen Richardson, your host for tonight, and my co-host, Dr. Rhonda Lawson, will be joining us shortly. Before we bring on our first guest, I have a couple of housekeeping notes. One is the registration for the 2026 National Black Book Festival is now open. If you're an author or a publisher or entrepreneur and you want to secure your spot, then you can put your deposit down, and the registrations are ahead of where they were last year. So we do expect we normally sell out sometime in July. And so the best time to sign up is during the early bird registration, which is from now until the end of March. And also our Black Authors Matter Children's Book Awards process is open, and you can submit your book if it was published in 2024, 2025, or 2026. If you're interested in submitting your book, go to blackauthors.matterBookAwards.com. And finally, the NAACP Image Awards announced the nominees for this year's awards. And in the literary category, we want to congratulate all of the nominees. Some of them have been on the show in the past year, so we've been posting reels from the interviews on our Facebook page. And if you want to see the full interview, you can go on YouTube to pull up the full interviews for those people. But congratulations on being nominated. It's an exciting process. Rhonda, how's your week been? You need to unmute so we can hear you before we bring on Brandon.
It's not unmute.
Oh, okay. But you act like you were getting ready to chop, and so that's why I asked. So how's your week been? You know, the weeks are going by so fast.
The weeks are going by fast, but no, it's been a great week. Black History Month Literary Weekend is coming together really, really well. Shouts out to New Orleans. They are really coming through. I got another community partner that came on. I got another sponsor for the meet and greet on Thursday night. So things are coming together really, really well. So I'm really happy. And then for Martin Luther King weekend, I attended the NAACP Martin Luther King breakfast that took place in Charles County here in Maryland. And it was wonderful. I mean, I was really motivated. If you did not leave there with some type of motivation, you just weren't listening. It was just a great event. And I'm not going to turn this into a whole political thing, but I think just everything that was said, it was just a great time. And I just want everybody to just galvanize for this coming year. That's all I'm going to say. And I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Well, we're going to be bringing on our first guest. There was one other thing that I wanted to mention, but it'll come back to me. I'll do it after this interview. So, Brandon Massey is no stranger to Black Authors Matter TV. I think we've had him on for his last 5 books, and he was also a featured author at the 2025 National Black Book Festival. So, Brandon, welcome back to the show.
Hey, how you doing?
I see you have a backdrop now. Usually we see your office or something like your laptop.
It's blurred out a little bit.
It's blurred out. Okay. So, but welcome back to the show. And I did want to, this is his book, See, he can show you the book,
Yeah.
but I have the book
Backwoods. Yeah.
because our book
You
club
are
read
a
this book.
busy, busy man because the book that I read for the event was a new book. And now look at you now.
Yeah, he has another.
Another one.
Yeah. Our book club read this for January, so we had our meeting to discuss
Mhm.
it on the second Saturday in January, and it got a high rating. So
Good.
everybody,
That's good to
in
hear.
fact, everybody gave it the same exact number, and that hardly ever happens. So out of
Really?
5 stars, we all gave it a 4.25. Everybody.
Okay.
So
All
that's a
right.
strong
Exactly.
rating.
That's a very precise number.
Well, you know what happened? See, with the book club, the first person who rated it gave it that number. And so
Mhm.
then we all said, well, yeah, let me do that. And then the next person said the same thing. So that's how it got going. That's how it started. But
Okay. I'll take it.
you have a good storyline with this. And I just want to give a couple of comments on my feedback. I didn't
Mhm.
like the main character for a little while till it got later in the book.
Nick.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because he,
Selfish.
as a
Mhm.
business owner, the moves that he made were just plain stupid.
But
And
I
I
think
was
Right.
I think that's the mark of a good character. I don't believe that a main character should be somebody that everybody likes. I think a
Mhm.
main character or a really good character, an effective character, should be somebody that draws emotion from the reader, whether that's going to be anger, whether it's going to be sadness, whether it's going to be joy, whatever it is, it should draw
Mhm.
something from that reader. So the fact that you didn't like the main character, that means that
Yeah.
it drew something from you. It made that character made you feel something. So that's a great thing.
It did. I grew to like him later in the book, but in the beginning, when he was making his business moves, I was very, very upset with him because as a business person, I'm like, that's stupid. So anyway, but he redeemed himself later on in the book, and it didn't go the way you did a good job of keeping
Thanks.
the reader uh on edge, but also not knowing what was going to happen next, like anticipating.
Yeah.
And it was not predictable at all. It's
Good.
not.
Good.
So, congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean with Backwoods, the story behind this one is I actually wrote this book about 8 years ago.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, yeah. And at the time I finished it, I wasn't really sure how it fit in with everything else that I was publishing. So I just set it aside. And most writers who've been writing a while, you have a book like that where you finished it, but you don't publish it right away for whatever reason. And then, I was just starting to. There's someone who's read pretty much all of my books from like the way, way back. So he had kept asking me, like, "Hey, you got anything else I can read?" I'm like, you know what? You keep asking. I'm gonna let you read
So
this
that's
book
why it
that's just
came out
sit.
so quick. That's why
Yeah,
it was so quick after the last book because it was already written. But
yeah, it
that's
was already
great.
done.
That's
Yeah.
great.
So and so he read it, and then he had great feedback, and then I thought, well, you know what? Let me read it again. So I read it again. I actually liked how it turned out. I had some things I had to tweak a little bit, but um, just the basic story of someone who um, is in this predicament with his business where he needs a tremendous amount of money in order to get from underneath the threat that this crime lord is posing. So he decides to hit up his granddad who's sitting on hundreds of acres worth millions. Um, I really just liked the core story, and then a lot of the historical aspects of dealing with the plantation and the overseer character. That type of stuff I really hadn't touched upon in a long time, really since probably Dark Corner.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Now
yeah,
I'm gonna interrupt you for 1 second
yeah,
because I noticed I could feel the elements of Dark Corner in
yeah,
this book. So it was like a harken back to it. I was
yeah,
getting those feelings that I got from Dark Corner, which is my favorite book
yeah. I
ever.
know that that's your
Mhm.
favorite.
That's my favorite. And it's still the
Yeah.
favorite. I think I've read 10 books or maybe more than that you've
Hmm.
written. And that one's still my
Yeah.
favorite.
Yes. Yeah. So, it kind of took me back to that story. And I just decided to just release it. And the feedback so far has really been great. I really um William Wells, who's narrated, I think, 7 of my books, including this one. He did a great job with the narration. I know a lot of people really get into the audio version, so he worked on that, and I think he did a great job. So, yeah, I'm just excited at how it turned out and how people have been responding to it so far. So,
You
yeah,
know,
thank you.
some people say that, especially like when the movie 12 Years a Slave was
Mhm.
released, they say that, they don't want any more slavery stories. But I believe that just like with this book, there are still stories that need to be told, and there are different ways to tell the story and not make it a story of struggle or a story of sadness.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
maybe a story that just happens to take place at that time, but it doesn't mean
Mhm.
that it's a slavery story per se.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, I totally get that because I like 12 Years a Slave. I mean, that was a really difficult movie to watch.
It is.
Um,
I watched it once and
so
once was enough.
I was like, what's
There
no
was no
more?
joy. There was no
Yeah,
joy. There was no happiness. Even the ending,
yeah,
which was supposed to be happy, was still sad. And
yeah,
I just, it was just too much.
yeah,
It was too much. It was too brutal.
yeah,
And
yeah, it was.
Roots had brutality. When I think about those, to me, Roots is just the classic, the epitome
Hmm.
of just a comprehensive story on that time period. And there was brutality in it, but because it was so many hours, I think it's maybe
Hmm.
12 hours of programming or 10 to 12. It was spaced out.
Mhm.
Right.
Whereas 12 Years a Slave was in a 2 hour or less movie. And so
Hmm.
it just made it so it was just too much. So
Yeah.
in fact, if someone wants to watch something on that period, I would not recommend that movie. To
Hmm.
me, if you really want to know the comprehensive parts of that period, to me, Roots is still the classic because
Hmm.
it takes you from Africa all the way to
Right.
freedom and 4 or 5 generations in between. And it's just really,
Yeah.
it's a classic. But um,
Well, I
think,
didn't want to digress too much because I think Brandon was
no,
actually about to make a point, though.
mhm.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say that normally that particular time period is something I tend to stay away from with stories because of the traumatizing aspects. I don't necessarily want people to pick up my books for that and get that. Like, oh God, picked up his book and it was traumatizing. I never want to read him or anything, like that again. I don't necessarily want that experience for people. So I felt like this story kind of tackled um, the whole overseer plantation slavery from a different angle, um, where really it's more of a family legacy type story, um, not necessarily white oppressed black people being oppressed by white people necessarily. There's that small aspect with one of the characters, but this is really about Nick, his grandfather, and their their ancestry, and how all that's gotten.
Humanized. You kind of humanized many of the
Yeah,
figures who lived during that time.
yeah, yeah.
Well, it really is a contemporary story. The whole
Right.
story is in the now.
Hmm.
It's
Yes,
just
exactly.
reflections on that time. So
Yeah.
it's not uh, a, a historical fiction story. It's
No,
a
no, not at
thriller.
all.
It's a thriller.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
and and it's a quick read too.
Yeah, yeah. It turned out it's like 63,000 words. I tend to think of books in like word count,
Words.
but
Okay.
yeah, yeah, a pretty quick read. Hopefully people pick it up and it just, keeps their attention and it's not boring. I'm always going for that before anything else is um I want people that from the first page to just be captivated, feel
Yes.
like they have to keep going and going and going until, oh no, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I gotta finish. you know.
I have done that with books where you think you just
Hmm.
want to read one chapter and you're like, okay, I'm
Hmm.
just going to get to the end of this chapter and then I'll go to
Yeah,
bed. But then you get to the end of the chapter and it was so good, you have to know what's going to happen next.
right,
Yeah.
Kind of the
right.
Netflix, it's the Netflix syndrome. This is why I don't like watching series. If I want to watch something late at night, I'll watch a movie because if I watch a series, I'm going to want to watch the next episode in the
Exactly.
series. It's like reading your books. I'm gonna read this chapter, but then something's going to happen, and it's going to make me want to read the next chapter, and I'm not going to go to sleep. And fooling with you, Brandon, it is going to be 4 o'clock in the morning, and I have to get up for work, and I'm going to be
Hmm.
tired the next day.
Like, damn him. Yeah, what's funny about Netflix is, and I know y'all have noticed, is once you watch an episode, like they immediately start playing the next one. Like they don't even give you a choice,
They do.
you know,
Mhm.
so
They
it'd be
do.
kind of
But
cool
some
if we
of
could
them,
do.
some of their stuff is like repetitious or formulaic, or some of their series
Hmm.
are the same. It's like,
Hmm.
and I can pretty much tell within the 20 minutes whether or not I want to keep watching. Um,
Hmm.
it has to have some kind of hook, not only with the
Yep.
characters, but now your books, your last so many books, I don't know. I've read the last five I've read, or maybe more than that. Anyway, I have the hard copy. I think before that I had Kindle. But I've noticed that your page count is right at 250. So have you found
Mhm.
that to be your sweet spot in terms of book length? Or is
Um,
it the
it's
page
really just where
word
it
count
turns.
and
Yeah,
then
it just tends to be where certain stories wind up. Now when I first started writing and when I was under contract with Kensington, they actually have a contractual requirement for a book to be a certain number of words. So I think in my
Mhm.
contracts it was like 90,000 words, which if looking at a book manuscript standard formatting is like 400 so pages. Um, which is okay. I mean, sometimes like Dark Corner, I mean, the book was well over that.
It was
It
500
was like a
pages.
hunt. Yeah, like I
I
don't even know where all
loved
that
it.
came from.
It was
Dark Corner,
uh,
500 pages.
Dark
yeah,
Corner's 500 pages.
yeah,
Brandon.
this is long.
It's his longest book.
It
That
is.
Okay, Brandon. I'm gonna have to bring a snack for this one. I haven't read it yet, but I
you
will be
need to
reading
read it.
it this
It's his
year. I
best.
will be reading it this
It's
year, but I'm
a
gonna have to bring
five.
a
It's a six on a 5 point scale.
snack.
It is just
Yeah,
so good. But all of his books are good, and you have
thank you.
a good imagination and a great way of telling a story. And your character development is good. Um, you don't have a lot of slow sections where it's like a lot of descriptions that some people get caught up in that when they write, and it just
Yeah,
like drag
yeah,
makes a book drag. Your book moves the whole every chapter something happens to where you want to
yeah.
keep
Thank
reading.
you.
So
Thank
that's
you.
really good, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't say it if that wasn't true. So, and I wouldn't keep reading your books if it wasn't true. I got a ton of books on my to be read shelf, and but I found, in fact, I had just finished another book. Our book club meeting was on Saturday. I had just finished another book on Tuesday. So I didn't have that
Mhm.
much time to read
Mhm.
yours. And then I ended up reading half of it like Friday night and Saturday morning. So right before the meeting.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it was easy to do. And,
Thank you.
you know, it's good that you've been able to maintain just your ability to weave a story without it being repetitious, and you're still self-published.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, at this point, I don't know the traditional publishing. I mean, I'm still in touch with my old agent, but it's just so different now. Just some of the most successful authors I've seen, like Black authors, they are self-published. Like I did this event in Detroit. Y'all familiar with this author, Jaquel J? You familiar with
Mhm.
her?
Yeah,
Right.
she's been on the show.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. She had, it was like she literally had like 500 people show up to this book signing. It was for this book club out of Detroit. And the line was out of the door. Like, now I've done a lot of book signings over the years. I've never seen a traditionally published author with a line like that. Like, and I've done signings with Eric Dickey, and he didn't have lines like that. It was crazy. So, yeah, I mean, they're just, at the end of the day, I think readers just want someone to tell them a story that they get captivated by reading. They don't
Yeah,
care if it's self-published or not. They
no.
just want a great story. So,
Brandon, I've got to say that a testament to you is that this book has only been out since October,
yeah.
and it's already gotten 141 reviews on Amazon,
Yeah.
which is amazing. So
Yeah.
the fact that you are getting people who are clamoring for your work. They're not just reading one Brandon Massey book and then moving on to something else. They are reading multiple Brandon
Yeah.
Massey. They're looking for your books and they are taking the time to leave a review, which means that you're leaving an impression on your readers. Um,
Mhm.
and the fact that you're self-published, this is you are actually kind of the blueprint for many self-published authors. What
Mhm.
is it that what is that one thing that you can tell self-published authors that they should be doing? Or what is it that um I don't know, what is it that one thing that you think that they should be doing that maybe they're not doing? Or what is that thing that you're doing that's really resonating with your readers?
I would say it's not just one thing. I would say it's a few things. So one is number one, write a great story that
Mhm.
people can't put down. Number two is package your work in a professional way. So great cover, good editing, all these things that, just make it look like a professional presentation.
Absolutely.
Um, the third thing, I mean, for me, I'm real big on just like I was talking about the audio book earlier. I found that probably about 40% of my readers want the audio book. So I would tell authors, make sure your work is available in all these different platforms. Your ebook, your paperback or hardcover, and then your audio. That way you give yourself an opportunity to capture people from all those different groups that, I have people that they tell me, I don't read books, I listen to books. They say I listen to all my books when I'm commuting to work.
I
Yeah,
tell people all the time. I don't have time to sit down and
yeah.
just read a book. I love reading books, but with
Hmm.
my schedule, the way my schedule's set up, I don't always have time to sit down and actually hold a book anymore. So I
Exactly.
listen to them while I'm exercising or I listen to them while
Yeah,
I'm driving. So
yeah.
I totally get that.
Yeah, so that to me has really been critical is And that's something I've really been focusing on the past few years is making sure every book had an audio edition. And I've noticed my audio sales have, like I said, they're like 40% of the total, and that was money that until I invested in getting those audio editions done, I was leaving that money on the table. So I would tell people, um, it's really important. And that's a market, that's a format that's growing still. Like the print editions, those sales are basically flat across the book industry.
Mm.
But audio is growing. Younger people, you know, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, well, not Gen Alpha, but Gen Z, they're listening to audiobooks, the younger millennials, they're listening to audio. You see them walking around with their earbuds in all the time. Sometimes they're listening to audiobooks. So just, yeah, I'd say that's really
They're listening
important
to
for
music and they're
authors.
actually listening to books.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think and I've also noticed, and this is just not something that you can really plan, but just a lot of these book influencers, that's a new thing. TikTok, Bookstagram. It might be worth for someone who's trying to get the work out there to reach out to some of these influencers and give them a review copy of your book. Some of these folks have thousands and thousands of followers, and they can really, help drive sales, visibility.
How
Have
many
you
books
had
do you have now?
I have out 19 novels right now,
okay.
and then a few short story collections, so like 20 plus
So,
at this
so
point.
another part of it is you've been around for a while.
Yes.
Um
Hmm.
you're not a person who wrote one book and thought that you were going to be famous off of one book.
No, my first book did very poorly. I tell people that, like, you can't count on your first book doing much of anything. It's the books after that. So yeah, that would actually be another good point. Keep writing. If the first book doesn't pan out, put out another one. Learn from that first one. Put another one out. Put another one out. And eventually you give yourself the opportunity to catch on, because some people, they may never read that first book, but they discover you with your third book or your second book or whatever. But
Right.
if you'd never written those, yeah,
So many people think, okay, I wrote one book, now I'm going to set the world on fire. No, that's not going to happen.
no,
You might
no.
end up setting your book on fire.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Gonna set the world on fire. And Brandon was a featured author at the very first National Black Book Festival.
yeah.
So
Thank you.
when
Yeah,
we were at George R. Brown. That's how, and we're in year 19 of the event now. So that's how long I've known Brandon. A
yeah,
lot of the people who come on the show that are prolific authors, I met them 20 years ago or more
mm,
especially when we had the walk-in store, when we had our brick and
yep,
mortar. But
yep.
I don't think you ever came to the store.
I did. I was at the
You
store
did?
once. Yeah,
You did?
yeah,
Okay. Okay. See, I don't
yeah,
know. Um,
yeah. That was
so
like 20 years ago. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Hmm.
I noticed your book, and I appreciate this as a person who's very anal about editing or unedited work. Your books are very well edited. I rarely
Thank you.
even see any mistakes, or maybe one or two, but they're very well edited, which I appreciate because
Yeah, thank you.
I books that aren't edited, like if I get to page chapter one and there's two mistakes on every page, you're gonna lose me because that means you were lazy or cheap and you
Yeah.
just didn't care.
Yeah, and I would tell people, because I hear other writers say, who are getting started, say, "Oh, I can't afford to pay
Mhm.
500 or $1,000." Like, well, just get two or three different people to read your people who read a lot, who know, you know, who are detail oriented. Get them to read your book. But don't just think you can do it yourself, because you can't. Like,
No.
it amazes me sometimes when I'll send one of my manuscripts to the editor to review some of the corrections that get made. I'm like, I totally missed that. It's just,
Yeah, me
you
too.
can't
And as
see it. You're
anal as I
blind to it.
am, you
Yeah.
can't edit your own work because you're too close to it. You've
Yeah.
read over these mistakes 5 times already, and
Hmm.
somebody else will see them. Just like I will see, I edit, like when I see something on TV, like even the news, when they have the Chiron with the headline and they have a mistake, I see it immediately.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just something that stands out. So,
Mhm.
thank you so much for being on the show, and
Yeah,
congratulations
my
on the book
pleasure.
again. And for
Thank
those
you.
who want to, I have my copy and I read it. It's really good. Backwoods, by
Backwards.
Brandon
Yes. Thank you.
Massey. And we're looking forward to your next book, whatever that's going to be.
Yeah, I'll let you know when I figure it out.
Okay. All right. Have
Thank
a
y'all
great
so
evening.
much.
Okay.
Okay.
You
Thank you
have a
both.
great night. It was
Okay.
good
You
talking with
too.
you once
Good
again.
talking to you again. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye. Okay, I remember what I wanted to tell the audience. Some of you all know that every year I publish a book. It's called 101 Scholarship Applications, but it's about going to college debt free with scholarships. And I do an update every year. And my original edition of the book was nominated for an NAACP Image Award. Even though my daughter has been out of school for years, I still continue to update the book so other people can benefit from it. So she graduated from college totally debt free. So my 2026 edition should be on Amazon within the next week or so. I'm waiting for my proof to come in so I can just make sure all the layout is correct and everything. And then I'll pull the trigger on it after that, and it'll be on an ebook, of course. I don't. All of my books are available on audio now because Amazon does that, but I don't know if a reference book like that will work on audio. You really need to. Even the ebook is not as effective as the paper. So, and Rhonda, I will be donating the books again for your Black History Month Literary Weekend. So for your scholarship for your students. So our next guest is he's been I guess on the show once before, but it's been a while, maybe 3 years ago. And he is an author and a publisher, and he has a whole bunch of books he's written and a whole even bigger numbers, hundreds probably of books that he's published under Just Us Books. So he and his wife, Cheryl. So Wade Hudson, welcome back to Black Authors Matter TV.
Yes, Gwen, how are you doing?
Doing great.
Yeah, it's good to be back with you again. I think we've done this several times over the past year, so great to be with you.
Yeah, and you keep writing and publishing. So how many books have you published now? Well,
Oh,
written. No.
just
How
us
many books have you written?
personally. Oh,
Uh-huh.
it's well over 40. Over
Oh, okay.
40. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And then how
And
many?
I mean, with what's going on in our country today, actually, I am more inspired to write uh our stories and share our history and our culture. So when what's the saying? When the tough gets going,
When the going gets
The
tough, the
tough,
tough.
the tough get
yeah,
going. Mhm.
absolutely. So
Yeah,
that's
but
what I am.
also, situations can create opportunities. And but
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
to seize them because a lot of times the time will pass. And if you didn't take advantage of the opportunity at that time, then you may have missed out on reaching some people you could have reached.
Yeah,
So now
yeah, yeah.
you have two books. That
Well,
just
I have a memoir that I did 2 years ago. This
Mhm.
past year, 2025, um, I published a middle grade uh, novel called The Reckoning, and it won several awards, including the Black Caucus of the American Library Association
Mhm.
Honor Book Award in the
Okay.
25. Um, and I have several books coming out this year. I think you saw my post on Facebook for Black Boys, I See You, which
Yes.
is a picture book that will be released in September of this year.
Okay. Okay. I thought it was out already, but it
No,
doesn't
it's
come
not.
out until
Actually, I'm
September.
excited about it. We've gotten wonderful feedback. I mean, people love it. The art is great, and I think the message is on point, lifting up and encouraging Black boys. They certainly need it today. And again, the illustrations, Keith Mallett did a wonderful job with the illustrations.
Okay. Does he illustrate all of your books or?
No, we've used different illustrators over the years. E.B. Lewis illustrated a book I did 2 years ago called Invincible, Fathers and Mothers of Black America. Don Tate illustrated The Day Mother Voted.
Okay.
It came out a year and a half ago. So there's a number of wonderful, very talented illustrators that we've worked with over the years, including, Just Us Books.
So when you say including Justice, oh, you mean that you work
Yeah,
with your
because,
books and the publishing
yeah,
company too?
right. I'm sort of referencing my personal books, but
Okay.
Just Us Books as a publishing company, we've used a lot of Black illustrators over the years. In fact, we've given some an opportunity to be published for the very first time. So we're happy about it. Because, we've been around, Gwen. This
Yeah.
is our 38th year.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I became aware of you when we had our when we first went online with cushcity.com, and then we opened our
I
brick and
remember.
mortar
I
store.
remember. And that's how long ago was that?
26 years, 27 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
we're hanging tough, right?
you all are, and it's been you and your wife the whole time.
Yeah, my wife and I, but also my daughter Katura works with the company, and our son Stefan, and of course we have other employees. And in fact, two members of my family had been with the company for 30 plus years, so it's a family affair as well.
That's wonderful.
Extended family affair.
Right. That's wonderful. Because family businesses can't, well, all business is challenging,
Absolutely.
but 5 years is that mark where they say if you last 5 years, you have more of a likelihood to continue on. But having your children and your extended family involved with the business is not always a simple or easy thing to
No, it's
do.
not. No, it's not.
'Cause-
We've been fortunate. We've not really had any major problems. I've heard horrible stories of families trying to work together over the years, but we've really never had that kind of problem. There's genuine respect that we have for each other, uh, from the top on down, and I think that's important. And everybody is valued. Everybody's important. Everyone has a important role to play, and we encourage each other to fulfill those roles, carry out the responsibilities, and so we're blessed. We're blessed.
Now you had a book called Defiant. Was that your memoir?
Yeah, that was my memoir that came out 3 years ago, and it did extremely well. Won a number of awards and was on bestseller lists as well. And the book is about my growing up years in Louisiana during the civil rights era, and it's ironic because for a lot of young readers, that period is like 300 or 400 years in the past, and so it's good to really bring that back, so that they can understand and appreciate the progress that has been made. Because what I do show in my memoir is how much progress has been made during my lifetime, because the world that I was born in is in many ways so different than the world that I'm living in now. I mean, I share, how much progress women have made, since I was a little kid. When I was growing up, you would rarely see a woman doing the news, you know, having any important position um, in society. Very few. Um, in the 1970s, I think, was the first time that women could actually get their own credit cards in their own names. Before they had to get them in the names of a father or a husband. So I mean, things like that we take for granted now. It's important to recognize that, those rights, that progress had to be fought for, and some people paid the ultimate price for it. And of course, the civil rights movement and what has taken place because of that, we certainly have a long way to go. There are so many more challenges that we face now, but we can't overlook, the progress that has taken place, because if we do that, we doing an injustice to those folks who fought for that progress, and we want to lift them up.
About knowing our history and sharing our history. We can't think that we're the first to do anything.
Absolutely. 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 And that became real to us when we started Just Us Books in 1988. We were thinking, we are doing this ourselves for the first time, and no one else really has done it to the extent that we were doing it. So we started doing our research, and we found out that from the beginning and back to the late 1700s, Black people have been fighting and struggling to tell their stories, to get their poems or their plays or their books published. The first Black newspaper was started in 1827, Freedom Journal. So we're standing on the shoulders of giants. And so when we talk about our company, we also share that story, that legacy of our people fighting to tell their stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how many books has Just Us Books published over the years?
We've done hundreds of books over the years. We've also partnered, Gwen, with some major publishers. We've partnered with Scholastic.
Okay.
Partnered with Penguin Random House. We've even partnered with Zondervan, which is a religious publisher that does children's books.
Well, I'm familiar with them.
So,
They used to do Bibles.
Huh?
Zondervan used to publish Bibles. I don't know if they still
actually
do.
we did two Black focused Bibles with them for children and teens.
What was the name of it? Was it like? Seemed like I had bought one for my daughter when she was a little girl. Did it have a colorful color with children on the front?
Yeah, well, there was two Bibles. One was aimed at teens. I think it was the African American Bible for Teens was the name of that one. And what we did in the back of the book, or the back of the Bible, we answered questions that we felt young people needed to know answers to. So they're like maybe 60 pages, who is God? What can I do if I'm afraid? So we provide scriptures that they can read, and a perspective on how the scripture could be used for that. And the other one is the African American Children's Bible, and it has illustrations of characters in the Bible that are Black.
I think that was the one that I got years ago. Well, my daughter's 29 now.
Okay.
So I think maybe she was maybe 4, 5, 6 in there when I got that Bible for her. And we used to sell it in our store.
Yeah,
we used to sell you all's books in our store, the Afro-Bets books.
Well, we still have the Afro-Bets ABC book is still available. It's still, in fact, some of the earlier books that we published, Bright Eyes, Brown Skin,
we
still been, the Afro-Bets Book of Black Heroes, still available.
Okay.
So
interesting to me that
Most of our backlist books are still available and still sell.
Okay.
One thing that you mentioned was the partnership with Scholastic. And over the years, I've heard parents and some teachers mention that they did not see a lot of Black authors represented with Scholastic. So I was kind of happy to hear that you were partnering with Scholastic, because I was hoping that that would help to get more Black titles and more Black authors into Scholastic. Were you able to get
Well,
more?
yeah, we actually, that partnership gave birth to, I think, 16 books that we did with them. But they do have a fairly aggressive publishing schedule for Black books. They do. Now there's the Scholastic Publishing, right? And then there's the Scholastic Book Fairs. So a lot of parents of students in school know about Scholastic's book fair,
Right.
because those books come to the school system, right? And there's always been a challenge with the Scholastic Book Fair because they don't carry many diverse books, and
Right.
that's still an issue. We used to get requests from schools. They would call us and say, well, Scholastic is coming, but we know they're not going to bring a lot of books. Can you bring some of your books and sell along with Scholastic? We did that for maybe 3 or 4 years, but that still is a problem. Of course, the big problem now is books being challenged and being banned across the country. So
So have any of your books been banned?
Yes, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. A lot of books written by our friends have been banned or challenged, and it's a big problem, and it's larger than books being banned. I think there's a concerted attack on Black history, Black culture, the Black experience, actually on Black people in general. I mean, I was just reading about a month ago that of the workers that have been fired because of DEI, more than 300,000 are Black women. 300,000 Black women have lost their jobs this year. And I'm sure the number is larger now. They are attacking museums, particularly the ones that receive federal funding. Trying to get certain artifacts and displays that focus on Black history out of the museum. So there's a concerted attack, and we really have to stand up and fight back against that. We cannot just sit still and let that happen. In fact, I was just reading, I started reading an article in the New York Times where it's talking about how Donald Trump and this right-wing agenda is reshaping every state in the union, every state, and I'll go back after we finish this interview and read that article, but I want to see more details about it. But that's what's happening. That's what's happening. And Project 25 is being implemented. And they're trying to take us back to 1940s and 30s when white men, mostly with money, ran everything.
Yeah, well, we're not going back there.
No, we got to fight against it.
We're not going back there. These are not the same people. How you were talking earlier about how young people think the civil rights movement was like 400 years ago.
Yeah.
But even with, my parents and how they grew up in a rural society, it's hard for me to visualize any of it, because that wasn't my experience.
Right.
So,
well, that's why books are so important, because
yeah,
you can
you can convey what took place.
yeah.
You can keep the storyline going.
Absolutely.
The
And there's so
details
many,
going.
I mean, there's so much that's still not covered or have been written about in the Black experience. I mean, I do a lot of reading, and I run across all these wonderful people who've done so many great, wonderful things that nobody knows about, So that's what I've been doing over the last year or so, is writing manuscripts about some of these people. Listen, we come
Have
from.
you published them?
Huh?
Have you published the
No,
ones?
no. They are manuscripts now, but
Right, that's what I was.
yeah, they will be published.
So are they on for young readers?
Yeah. So all of our books are for young readers. For picture books on up to YA.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, it makes sense now because that's really pretty much all I've seen from.
Yeah, that's all we do. Yeah. In fact, our company is the only Black-owned company, independent Black-owned company that publishes books for young readers exclusively. There are several other Black publishing companies like Black Classic Press, Paul Coates, Third World Press, Hakeem Marbuti, Africa World Press, Casahone Chico, and they are what we call, along with Just Us Books, the legacy publishers. And actually, Just Us Books is the baby of the group. Paul Coates started about 10 years before we did. Third World Press has been around since the Black Arts Movement, 1960s. Africa World Press has been around for about 40 plus years as well. And so we're still, staying the course and still publishing books about our people and for our people.
Well, one thing I really like about the books that you all do, they're just so well illustrated.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So colorful. And you mentioned Keith Mallett. We used to sell his art when we had our store.
Yeah.
To sell his art in our store, and then a lot of his art got licensed onto like art plaques and things. We were selling those, so we had a lot of his work, not book illustrate. I didn't know he even did book illustrations, but we had a lot of his art. I think I'm pretty sure I have some in my house.
He is awesome, man. He really is. I mean, I wish I had the artwork to show for the book that we're talking about. Actually, I don't know if you can. This is the cover.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yes. Beautifully done.
Yeah. I mean, he's awesome. So I'm excited about this book, and I also have another one coming out in September. It's called What Shall We Tell You? And it's a book that is aimed at encouraging and lifting up young people as we try to deal with this toxic environment. We want to let them know that we love them. We're here to support them. No matter what they're going through, they will get through it. Our ancestors got through it. We'll get through it too, and they will. So it's a book of a love poem, really, to young children. So I'm happy about that one too.
So if someone wanted to get their books published through Just Us Books, how do they go about it?
Yeah, you would have to go to our website, www.justusbooks.com, and there's information there that can direct an aspiring writer or illustrator on how to submit work and what we are looking for. So that's what I would encourage them to do, to go to our website.
Are there any specific genres you're looking for at this time?
I'm sorry?
Are there any specific genres that you're looking for at this time?
We're always looking for manuscripts aimed at the middle grades, um, from a grade 4 through 6. So that's the 9 through 12 age range. Um, but I would say to go to the website and just because it changes from time to time. Sometimes we're looking for certain books because we need those genre books, and so we're looking for manuscript for those. And sometimes we're working on a certain genre for we got 4 or 5 years planned out. So it depends on what we're
Okay.
doing. Yeah.
Now, are there any types of books that you all aren't looking for because it's saturated on
Well,
subjects or
we've never published animal books with
okay.
that have animals as the characters. And the reason for that is uh, major publishers used to publish these books so they didn't have to feature Black characters. That was their way of getting around publishing Black children or Black people in the books. So
That was a huge concern. Like recently, people were noticing that with cartoons that were being cartoon movies or animated movies that were being released,
yeah,
they were obviously cartoons about people of color,
yep.
but they were being turned into animals or shapes or things like that instead of letting the characters be people of color.
Absolutely. Yeah, that has been going on for years and years. So we push back against that.
Okay.
Not to say that there aren't some wonderful uh, animal books, but when it's done to answer the call for diverse books, so you have books with animals to
Right.
answer that need or that call, and we said no. So that's why we've never really published a book that has animals in it, and we will not do that.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that was going to be the answer.
What were you expecting?
I didn't know what to expect,
Okay.
but I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. But I mean, there's so much about the Black experience that, as I said earlier, that are not in books. So what I encourage aspiring Black writers is to look for subject matter that has not been published. I think what tends to happen often, if a particular topic is successful as a book, then a lot of people want to jump on that topic. So you end up finding 30 Harriet Tubman books, for example,
Yes.
when there are so many other abolitionists or Black leaders who've done so many great things to advance our cause that no one knows about.
And along those lines, for years, everybody heard about Rosa Parks.
Yeah.
Just in recent years, people started hearing about Claudette Colvin.
Claudette, yeah, absolutely.
Passed away in the last month or so.
Yeah, well, she passed away last week, right?
A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
But
I think the New York Times did an article on her, I think yesterday, maybe Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah. So
but there were recently books published about her.
Yeah.
In recent years.
Same thing with Ruby Bridges. I mean, there were no books really about her until maybe 20 years ago, I think, roughly 20 years ago. And such a phenomenal story and courage exemplified by this 6-year-old kid, 7-year-old kid, and very few people knew about it. now, I mean, she's an icon because a couple of people wrote about it. And well, George Ford, a good friend of ours, actually illustrated the first picture book about her.
Mm,
And Scholastic did the book.
okay. Okay. Well, we're at the end of our time, Wade.
Oh, wow. Where does the time
Yeah, it
go? That
goes
went
by so
quickly.
fast. It does.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
But
It's a good conversation.
Yeah,
yeah, but
absolutely. Absolutely.
thank you thank you for your perseverance and your commitment to what you do, because I think people don't realize how much of a commitment it is
Absolutely.
to
Absolutely.
persevere in this space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
as you have to be committed. You can't
Absolutely.
just be totally motivated by money, although money does solve all things, as the Bible says. but you need to have the commitment, and you withstood the test of time.
Absolutely.
And
And so have you. And I congratulate you on what you've done. What you do is so important because you give us a platform. You promote our books, and we need more like you. So thank you.
well, you're welcome. And where are you all based out of?
We're actually in New Jersey.
Okay,
In New
okay,
Jersey. Yeah.
okay.
You're
Yeah.
from
And just for those
Louisiana?
those
Did I hear
people
you
who
say
may
you were
be
from
interested,
Louisiana?
I'm sorry.
Did I hear you say you were from Louisiana, or had you
I'm
been?
I'm originally from Louisiana, right? But I
Mhm.
left Louisiana decades ago. So we've been
Okay, so
living
I'm,
here in
I'm
New
from
Jersey.
Louisiana as well.
You are? What about?
I'm from New Orleans.
Okay. Yeah, I went to college at Southern University in Baton Rouge.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
wow, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a small world. At least once a month, we both one or the other of us find out that a guest is from our hometown. So that, so that I mean, it's a small world.
It
So
is. It really is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
so anyway, thanks so much, Wade. Say hello to
Thank
your friends
you.
for
See you
us.
guys later. Take care.
Okay. Have a
Bye-bye.
good night. Okay. Also, I do want to mention that in addition to my book about debt-free college, I'm working on my book number 16, and it's going to be about how to plan a book event. So that book should be out this summer. I'm working on it as we speak. I get so many people who come to our event who want to do something smaller in their own communities, but they just don't know where to start. So um, I'm working on that book. So anyway, when it's available, when I finish, I'll let you know. When it's available, I'll let you know that as well. So our next guest is new to the show. Her name is Rebekah Cole. She has a book called All That She Wants, and she has some other books that she's showing there on, on the background. So, Rebekah, welcome to Black Authors Matter TV.
Thank you. Hi, Gwen. Hi, Dr. Rhonda. Thanks for having me.
You're
Thank you for being
welcome.
here tonight.
And I hope you fully recovered. I know you were not feeling that well last week.
I was not. I got attacked by the virus, but I am better, much better.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear because it is something going around.
It
So
definitely
you need to
is.
be fortified with your immune system needs to be boosted because there's lots of germs out here.
Yeah, got my
And
elderberry on stash. So
okay, so your new book is All That She Wants, and it just came
mhm.
out in December. Is that the one on the bottom?
Yeah, yeah, I'm probably blocking it, but yeah,
Okay, yes,
this is
okay.
yeah,
Because I saw the
that is
cover
the one.
online and it's a beautiful cover.
Thank you. I designed it. So yeah, I'm so
Oh,
excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so excited I could put graphic designer behind my name.
oh, okay. Now, are you self-published or hybrid or?
I am self-published, so I have my own publishing company, Simca Scripts LLC, and so I have several books under that umbrella. And so I do self-publish my books, and my daughter also wrote a book. Shameless plug, but this is
Okay,
Yeah.
you went away.
Okay. Girls Fish too. So my daughter's a published author now too.
Okay, now is that a children's book?
It is a
We
children's
couldn't
book.
really see it. It like,
Girls Fish too.
is
Yeah,
that
it's linked.
okay?
It's linked on my page. So yeah.
Okay. Now, the other books that you have behind you are those, they look like they might be in like a fantasy genre or.
Well, it's a trilogy. So I've been a published author for 10 years now. So in 2016, I first published Women's Voices. And that was my debut novel. I had been writing and writing for years since I was a kid. This love to write, love to read. And I finally published Women's Voices. I got such great feedback from readers. They were asking what happens next. So, and then I wrote a sequel, and then it became, okay, but we need more. And so then it became a trilogy. And I was like, okay, enough of the Miller family drama. So I have a trilogy under my belt. So that's Women's Voices, Janetta's Death, and Divided by Blood. Yep.
Okay. Well, the readers will give you the feedback.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times, if you write characters that come to life, the readers will want to know what happens to them. And then, you're like, well, this is not a real person. Rhonda and I are both writers, so we're both published.
Yeah.
So you can end up with multiple books just from the readers wanting more.
Absolutely. And it was so fun writing it too. So, in my mind, I treated it like a TV series and, like what happens next. So, and then also underneath my belt, I do have Soundless Echo, which is a murder mystery set in Chicago. So I try not to limit myself with the genres that I write. I'm like, my voice and experiences can go across many genres. So that's actually my bestseller, Soundless Echo.
Okay.
And it's a murder mystery, it's suspense, it's thriller. It's got, all the Chicago Police Department involved and, trying to figure out what happened to this 17-year-old girl at a party that she wasn't supposed to throw while her parents were out of town, mind you. But, it's still very intriguing. And when I have my book signings, it's usually my bestseller. So Chicago loves a murder mystery. Go
It's
figure.
a lot of writers out of Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of writers and publishers out of Chicago.
There are. I was very surprised. It seems like you can't throw a rock right now without meeting an author in Chicago. I mean, the writing scene is just booming in Chicago right now.
Yeah, it's a great time, and a lot of the big bookstores have closed, but in the Chicagoland area, our black owned bookstores are popping up. I mean, they're popping up all over Beverly, Homewood, Flossmoor. It's an exciting time to actually have books in hand. So, South Side of Chicago, and they're always so eager to represent local authors. And so it's great exposure.
That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because She Publishing, that's Chicago, right, Rhonda?
It is.
But it's a lot of people. What's her name? She does crime fiction. Tracy Clark. Are you familiar with her?
Chicago.
She's in Chicago.
And her guy is in Chicago. Oh man, I cannot think of his name right now. I'm looking right in his face. He actually has a collective. I cannot think of his name right now.
Put in the chat when it comes to you, Rhonda.
Yeah, when it comes to me, I'll put him in the chat. But I was actually sitting next to him at the Indiana Black Expo, and I cannot think of his name. But he had like a Chicago Black Writers Collective or something, and I can't think of his name right now. But he's in Chicago as well. But
is Dr. Ian Smith in Chicago? Aren't his storylines in Chicago?
I'm not
in his mysteries.
Yeah,
mysteries are based in Chicago.
Ian Smith.
Yeah. Well, all my books the plot is in Chicago. Okay. Every last one of them, and the readers love that.
The guy's name is Daryl. I can't think of his last name. His first
name
is Yes.
Harvey.
Daryl. He's in Chicago.
He does the Black Child Book Fair.
Yes.
He does the children's book fair. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And the reason why his name came to my mind, because I'm writing this book on book events. And so, I realized we've interviewed like 10 different people that do book events, which is great. And their interviews are all public on YouTube. So it's great information for me to use for my book. Anyway,
Do.
he does the Black Child Book Fair, and it travels around.
Yes,
But
that's
he's
it.
based in Chicago.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
a
quite
real,
yeah. And then every time I have a book signing, it's always so great to meet, local authors coming from, Wisconsin, Indiana, Michigan, all over. So it's really a really good community here.
yeah, because that area is kind of close together. The
Oh yeah,
states are,
absolutely.
it's kind of like the DMV or the East Coast,
It
and
is.
that, between DC and New York, like everything is connected. Everything, you can go from one place to another. Texas is the opposite of that. Every, everything here is far apart. Even in town, even in Houston, I can drive for an hour and still be in Houston on the freeway. So that it's
I've
spread out.
heard. I've
Yeah.
heard. Yeah. But
Yeah.
did you get a chance to read all that she wants this time?
No, I tell people my to be read shelf is
I
overloaded
already,
because
I
of this
already know.
show. Because this show, we've interviewed over 800 people. Most of them are authors. So it's what I try to do. My favorite genre is historical fiction, but I also like mysteries and thrillers and things like that. I
Mhm.
try to support, even if I don't read somebody's book, if I think I might read it in the future, I try to support them by purchasing it, even if I don't get a chance to get to it, because I'll almost every week or every other week there's a new one that I'm adding to my
Yes, and
shelf.
a lot of our readers are addicted to um, certain authors, right? So when you have a fan base, they really want more and more and more out of you. And so I've been
Yes.
writing and being published for 10 years. And I was listening to the other authors before me, and it's like the audiobooks is really booming and it's a great investment. And so this year I'll be investing in myself and, my author path and career, and definitely getting these books on audio, because some people are always in the car or waiting at their kids' sports events, and they're like, "Hey, I can listen." So it's kind of difficult sometimes if you have a challenging schedule to just sit down and read a book. I used to enjoy my reading on the train when I would commute downtown Chicago to work. I would write the majority of my novels while I was on the train commuting. So it's, the audiobooks is a great investment as an author. I just have to decide which of my books I want on audio first. So, I have the trilogy, and then I have the suspense thriller. And I also wrote a caregiver journal. So I have a caregiver journal because I was catapulted into a caregiver role in 2024. And it just really helped me to have my own journal, to write my own thoughts and write down medications, doctor's appointments, things like that. I was kind of frazzled at first, but then I got a little pattern going. And so that's probably like the blue that you see behind me. But this is
Okay.
my caregiver journal.
Okay.
And it's so all of this is on my website. Is so you're a caregiver, now what? Because most people are just thrown into being a caregiver. So that's my journal. And like I said, I have my publishing company, Simca Scripts. So I have about 10 books under that umbrella. And I
Do you
really
publish?
want,
Do you publish other authors or just
oh yeah,
yourself?
I do.
You,
I do.
you do?
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Under your publishing company.
Yeah, I do other authors, and I do editing and proofreading, whatever they need. I mean, I enjoy, if I could quit my day job, I would. But so
The
this
way
is
you
what I
were describing what you do, I thought you were doing it full time. That's a lot to do
yeah.
after hours.
Oh, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it immensely. And I enjoyed really writing a romance novel. So this is for the listeners. This is my very first time writing a romance novel, All That She Wants. And
Okay.
so, yeah, so I'm like really trying to dive into different genres. And I just felt like, you know what, it's not, and for people who are writing, you should know that, yes, it's a saturated market, but nobody has heard the story the way you're going to tell it. So even though it's a romance novel, it's really positioned when a woman is asking herself, like, I'm successful, I've had my heart broken, I've rebuilt myself, am I open to love again? And it's not love as a rescue, but it's more like risk and exposure. So, the main female character, Cinda Michelle Polk, she quit corporate America. She moved to Chicago. She opened up her own dance studio, yoga studio in the South Loop of Chicago. She works with the community, the children, and she's well grounded, but guarded, right? So it's really a book for women who've loved, lost, rebuilt themselves, and then just really not sure if they want to go down that path again. But her best friends introduced her to somebody who is kind of irresistible. So if you're looking for a book boyfriend, you can find a new book boyfriend and all that she wants, because he came in Henrik Weston he's a pretty cool dude. So he's a plant daddy. He has his own architectural and landscaping firm in Chicagoland area. So he has his own business too. So they're two well-rounded 40-something-year-old adults who are unsure about should they go down that path again. But yeah, so it's kind of a slow burn, but it gets spicy. So it's my first romance novel.
Okay, and it just came out last month, you said?
Yeah, December 22nd,
okay.
right before the holidays. Yep. It came out with a bang.
Yeah, were you nervous about delving into the romance genre?
Not really, because I have so many stories in me, Gwen. I'm like, wait a minute, I could write about this, I could write about that, and so like I said, I don't want to really limit myself on the genre that I write. So I dabbled and did Soundless Echo with a suspense thriller. It's in Chicago, murder mystery, and now I'm like, yeah, it's time for a romance novel, but not the kind you think, not the kind where a woman is looking to be rescued and, oh, woe is me, and when is my love gonna come along? Like, no, Cinda Michelle Polk is well-rounded, she's grounded, and she's just fine. So she's just doesn't know if it's worth the risk of starting all over again with somebody new. So
well, that's what I was actually going to ask you when you decided to jump into the challenge of writing a romance, because I wrote a romance for the first time as well. And I did not want to trap myself into the formula of the traditional romance novel. And it sounded like you didn't want to do that either, but there are certain people who only want the formula. So how did you challenge yourself to maybe give a little bit of the formula, but at the same time still give a little bit of Rebekah as well?
That's a really good question, Dr. Rhonda, because All That You Want wasn't written to follow romance rules. I knew off the bat I wasn't going to do that. It was really written to honor women who already survived heartbreak, already went through divorce, already, had to start all over again. And I can relate to that because I had to do it too, So, through my experiences, I'm like, yeah, I wasn't really broken. A lot of women aren't broken. They just need to learn how to bend a little bit and invite and accept love. And so, personally, it took me 20 years to get remarried. So I just felt like this was a woman's story that many women in their 40s or 50s, can relate to, about starting over, but guarded, like, having a sense of self and self-worth and not really willing to risk and play games with people along the journey.
Yeah, well, when you get past the 20s and 30s, you really don't have time to waste on foolishness or somebody who's not at least open to a commitment of some kind. You're not like you were in your 20s where you could just kind of date people and just, you're looking to do something a little more settled.
Yeah, and I have regular tropes in the book too, but I didn't write tropes to just write tropes. I'm really trying to expose and really bring awareness to the scariest thing after loss isn't loneliness. It's not always about being lonely. It's about hoping again. Like, I hope this works out. This is a risk. What type of risk am I willing to take just to say, I have a man in my life now? You know, is he going to embarrass me because I am somebody? Right. So, because, you know, this character rebuilt her entire life and just has been living her life the way she wants in Chicago with her girlfriends. And, you know, they have kids, but she doesn't. And, you know, so she's just living her single life, having a good old time. So, you know, and here comes Mr. Kamen Weston with the Google eyes. So, you know, and since I'm from Chicago, of course, I have a lot of Chicago locations in here. They meet at the Chicago Urban League Gala that's hosted every year here in Chicago in November. So it goes over a span of November, December holidays, the drama that comes along with families during December holidays. And then, you know, how are you going to plan your New Year's? You just met this guy. You bringing in a New Year with him? Maybe, maybe not. So the story just spans over, you know, the course of 4 months. And in the epilogue, it's a year later. So yeah, I had a lot of fun writing this one.
It sounds like it.
It sounds like
There's
a
a little bit of you in there. And I'm not saying this, I'm not saying you made it into an autobiography. Did she freeze?
No, it's definitely not an autobiography.
I thought you froze.
Well, I think she did freeze the video.
Are you?
Did I
Can you
freeze?
hear us? Can you hear us, Rebekah?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can see you. Did I freeze?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your video froze, but you're still
But
talking.
you're still talking.
Okay. As
Okay,
long as you
as
can
long
still
as
hear.
you can, as long as you can hear us and see
Okay,
us.
now you're unfrozen.
Okay, so yeah, I'm
Okay,
not,
great.
yeah, I didn't mean that you made, is this an autobiography or anything? I just wanted to know if there's a little bit of you in the character.
Oh, there's a lot of me because, like I said, it took me 20 years to get remarried. I wasn't here for the games. So, you know, and it's not to say I haven't had proposals in those 20 years. I did, but I'm just very picky and choosy because I had been married before.
Yeah.
You know, I'm established. I've been married. I got divorced, started over, got my career going, have my children, like, you know, so there's that component of me in Cinda Michelle Pope where she is just not here for the games, just not. I mean, like, she's well-rounded, she's grounded, and she loves her life. So she's not looking to be rescued.
Yeah, and I think when you've been through the first a bad marriage or divorce or whatever, you're more suspicious. You know, that's what
That's an understatement.
Yeah, the first when I was young, before I got married the first time, I just kind of took people as they were, you know, accepted what they said about themselves. And
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah, well,
everybody-
yeah, you took things at face value, but let me tell you, Gwen, we got technology. You got technology now. You don't have to take anything at face value. You go
That's
research
true. That wasn't available to me when I got married the first time or the second. But
that's funny.
I was very suspicious on, you know, you don't know if the person is being genuine or not. And one thing about my husband, who I've been married to now for 33 years, we've been married 33 years. The first one was very short. The first one was short. It was a nightmare. It was a short nightmare. But anyway, my husband was genuine from jump. On the first date, he told me we were supposed to be married. I thought he was nuts, and we've been married 33 years. So, but he was just honest and genuine. He had no guile. He didn't play games. There were no games. He was all in. He was in love with me, and he wanted to marry me. And so that's what I needed after, you know, the uncertainty of the previous situations.
Yeah. And it's nothing wrong. And I really do bring awareness in my novel, All That She Wants, that it's nothing wrong with wanting to be loved and love. It doesn't make you weak. You know, so, and I think a lot of people, I
It's
mean,
human.
everybody wants to be loved in some capacity, but
Men
sometimes,
too. Men too. It's not just a
yeah.
women thing.
Oh, trust me. Oh,
Yeah.
the leading male character in my book. Oh my goodness. Yes, he wants to be loved deeply too. But sometimes it means you're finally strong enough to like risk it. Let me just risk this and see how it, you know, turns out. And so sometimes, you know, it's a coin toss. You know, it's a coin toss. Like, you know, but women, this book will meet you where you are. So women who are tired of romance that ignores emotional reality, like let's just keep it a buck. Like let's keep this real, right? In our age group, women want love, but not at the cost of themselves. And so, you know, that's what, you know, I'm really bringing light to that. Like this is not a damsel in distress, honey. She's got her stuff together.
Yeah.
And
And
so where are
also,
you coming in?
well, also, if you've had a career success, like I was in business from a young age, you're not looking for somebody to control you. You know, some men are
Right, that too.
controlling, you know, some successful men are
Yeah.
controlling, you know,
Yeah,
so
and so yeah, this leading male character Cayman Weston is very much in control of his life and relinquishing that control, even when it comes to like on-site construction sites. Like in the novel, he's doing the Ronald McDonald House in Chicago, right? So he's a landscaper, he's doing all this, but he just won't relinquish a lot of duties to his crew, and they can handle it. But life comes at him fast, and so he has to relinquish control. So that's really showcased here too, like when you are in control of your life and now here comes a little wrinkle in time, like how do I manage this? How am I managing my feelings? Do I call her? I want to call her. No. Do I seem thirsty? No, I don't want to be thirsty, but I want to talk to, like, so all these type of emotions, that's what I mean about emotional reality. The things, our thoughts and our feelings that we really don't talk about with other people late at night or early in the morning, right? And you know, you're constantly, this person is on your mind. Am I on their mind? So, you know, it's, I
right.
showcase a lot of that. It's very realistic in that sense.
Well, it sounds like you put a lot of thought into the storyline and the characters.
I had to,
And
Gwen. I had to, because I'm like,
okay.
you can, Rebekah, you cannot write a love story and make it seem like this is a damsel in distress, because
Right.
I don't know many women like that, quite frankly. I mean, first of all, when you meet a woman from the south side of Chicago, you winning. Okay. Ask Barack Obama. Michelle is from the south side of Chicago. You a winner, right? So it's like we're kind of built different. It's like we're not out here like weeping and crying. It's like, okay, you act up, next, next, you know, like who else step up to bat, you know. So women have options, right? And so the leading male character, Cayman Weston, he's got a lot of options too. He's very successful and wealthy with his company. So, but their backstory and a family history, it's some plot twists. It's a
Okay.
lot of plot twists in there. It's not just all romance. It's chaos. It's coincidence. It's a lot of awareness about how people are deeply connected and don't even know it.
Okay. So, what kind of feedback have you gotten so far?
Well, so far, that's a great question.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I
So
like that
far,
laugh you gave as an answer, though.
yeah, so far it's been like, you know, people are shocked. Okay. So it gets a little spicy. A lot of my books don't have spicy scenes, but you know, it's a romance novel. You can't have
Hmm.
it, you can't have it dry.
Right.
But the storyline, people who are from Chicago appreciate it so much because they're like, I can envision the streets, I can envision the hotels, I can envision the places you're talking about. And I got, from my beta readers, I had 3 beta readers. They got advanced reader copies, and one of them cried. So that was
Hmm.
a really good sign for me. I was like, yes, you cried. So, you know, she's like, I cried and cried. I was like, good. That's a good thing. So that is a real eye opener for me as an author, as a writer, to know that I'm emoting these feelings and emotions out of people when they read my work. So that makes me feel really good.
I'm trying to think, has a book ever made me cry? I've read thousands and thousands of books.
Gwen, really? You've never cried? I have cried over books.
Oh,
I cry over
I'm an
commercials.
emotional
But
person,
don't use me as
and I don't think I've cried on a book either.
I've
Now,
cried a
I know
movie.
emotion, but I don't think I've cried.
I don't think I've cried on a
Oh
book.
my gosh.
I
I
laugh
cry
out
over
loud.
commercials.
I do the other emotions, but
Mhm.
I don't think I've cried. I've cried at movies, but I don't think I've ever
But
cried.
like I said, all that she wants is meeting people at every level of their life. So whether you're a career woman or you're married and already have kids, it's all type of sub characters in the book too. So everybody has a little bit of a storyline. So I'm really, and this is breaking news. This is
Okay.
breaking news, Gwen and Dr.
Okay.
Rhonda. So I want to make this into a trilogy as well because
Ooh.
the sub characters have voices and they have stories to tell too.
Okay. Well, good for you. And you've done it already. So
I've done it already.
so it shouldn't be that difficult. It's just tying the titles together.
That's right. All that she wants,
Mhm.
all that he wants, and all that we want. Trilogy.
Oh, okay. Well, good for you. Well, it was great meeting you. Congratulations on your
Thank
publishing
you.
success and
Thank you.
continued success with all of your work and your trilogy. I will be on the lookout for it. I know you have it posted when when it comes out, so I'll
Oh,
be
you
looking.
know I will. I'll be
Mhm.
posting it everywhere.
I'll follow you
Thanks.
on your platforms. Okay, thank you so much for being a guest and have a great night.
Thanks for inviting me.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Have a great night.
Okay, so we're bringing on our final guest. And from time to time, we have bookstore owners, as you know, on the show. And so this next guest is Demetrius Frazier. He is with Resist Booksellers, and he's based in Petersburg, Virginia. And in the course of the back and forth about him being on the show, we found out we graduated from the same high school in Newport News, Virginia. That's why it's a small world.
Small world. Warwick High School.
Warwick High School in Newport News, Virginia. We graduated from the same high school.
Same year?
Probably not. Probably not.
Dr. Laws, you trying to get me in trouble now? Look.
I just asked the question.
I don't tell. So, but it was a few years back. Let me say that.
I graduated in 95. So I'm gonna tell my number and
okay,
you're gonna have to tell
my
your number.
number is before yours. That's what I told you. I know mine is before yours.
My number's before yours too. You're a baby.
I'll take it. The way my knees be acting, I don't feel like a baby.
It was a circuitous way we even got there because he's in Petersburg. So I said, I knew some people from Petersburg, and then and Petersburg isn't that far from Newport News.
No.
So that's when I mentioned Newport News, and then he said he went to high school in Newport News. So I wasn't even thinking that there would even be a connection. Then when he said he went to Warwick, I said, okay, this is a small world. I grew up on Wickham Avenue.
Okay.
When
I was more Deer Park near Jefferson.
Okay,
and J. Clyde.
We used to call that North Newport News.
North.
That's what we call it because Black people didn't really live that far north.
Right.
So that was I lived close to the water.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in fact, I could walk to the beach from my house. It was a block from my house. It's an area that used to be called Christopher Shores, but it's not. It was like nice then, but it changed over the years. But anyway, are you from Petersburg originally?
Originally, I'm from New York City. So I am.
Okay.
I have moved around a little bit, but it has a story to it, right? I was in New York City up until 7th grade. If you put the years together, that was around when crack epidemic and a whole lot of things were happening. And my grandmother, God bless her heart, she said, I'm out. And she picked up, sold the house. My mom, sister, and I moved with her to Newport News because she had a twin brother who lived in Hampton. So,
Okay.
that was not too far.
Yeah,
My
Hampton
mom
and
couldn't
Newport
find
News
a
are like the
job
same city.
and she went back. And I stayed, to finish out high school, finished
Oh,
work, went to college in Virginia Union in Richmond,
okay.
and just never left the area.
Oh, okay. I had some classmates that went to Virginia Union.
Oh,
So
yeah. Those
all
hollow
their all
grounds
the
and zero
schools.
walls.
All of those schools. Norfolk State. I
Yeah.
went to Georgetown, but my brothers both went to Hampton.
All right. Right.
And yeah.
Right by
So
the water, too.
yeah.
It's funny,
So
I lived in Virginia for a hot minute.
Mhm.
you
I lived
did?
I thought I told you that, Gwen.
What part? What part did you
I
tell me?
lived in Virginia Beach.
Okay. Tidewater. There we go.
Yeah, that's all around the same area. Newport News, Virginia Beach, Suffolk, Portsmouth, um, North, all of that's all there together. It's really like a stone's Chesapeake. Uh, but it really used to just really be Newport News and Hampton. Chesapeake was like off to the side. Suffolk
Right.
was
Right.
just rural, but in later years they developed it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
so now a lot of people live in Suffolk. But it
That's
just
right.
used to be the country like Smithfield. It just Suffolk was it wasn't developed. But now, how long have you had your bookstore?
So February 10th of this year makes 4 years in business. But
You
we've been
mean
in this
last
space as
year?
a brick and mortar 3 years in June.
That's wonderful.
Oh, okay, wonderful. So, what made you open a bookstore? What led you to open?
It didn't start from a good place. We had my good friend of mine, Lance Adams, and I, we were sitting watching Philando Castile and other unfortunate deaths and murders at the hands of police. And we said, we got to figure out what's going on. We got to better understand. And we decided to try to sit down and read together. So that started our Black Men Read book club excursion. So
Love
we
it.
tried calling around and seeing if people wanted to sit down and read with us, join the club. But after we got the group together, we said, all right, let's go out and get these books. And we sent them off to the bookstore in their local area, and they went to go look for the books. Most of them were social science, Black history, things like that. And they couldn't find them. So all of the Black books, you go into Barnes and Noble, you know how this works. The New
Mm,
York Times bestsellers are in the front. Those are
mm,
usually your Michelle Obama books. Those are, the big million copy books. Those all in front. But then when you want to get to the dig deeper, the independent stuff, all that stuff, that's in the back. It's on the lower shelf. They bunch them all together, or they might not even be on the shelf. And so I decided, as far as trying to solve that problem, which was, I want to flip that. I want to put Black books first, right? We still do sell white books and white authors and other people like that, but we wanted to flip it to create a better experience. So if we really want to encourage people to read, they got to be able to, one, find the stories that match their experience, match their needs and desires, things like that. But it should be accessible, right? I shouldn't have to struggle to find a Black book on the shelf somewhere. And you just didn't have that in any of the stores in our area. I think I was listening earlier, you mentioned in Chicago, there's a ton of Black bookstores popping up everywhere. And that's not the case. Petersburg, we're the first bookstore in Petersburg in over 30, 40 years.
Oh, wow.
And so you got a whole community, which our city is 85% Black, who
is
hasn't had a bookstore in 40 years of their own. The nearest one is the next city over, and it's a Books a Million in the back of a dying mall. So they don't get that experience. And so now we pop up. Think about it. If you've never been to a Black bookstore, you've never had the books in the front, and the first thing you see is somebody that looks like you on the cover. That's a transformational experience. Now, it's not to say that we're the only thing that's going to make them read, but for sure, having access to the literature is one of the steps.
So now my question is, how do you, in a situation like this,
Mhm.
it's easy to dismiss the thought, because some people will say, well, we don't have a Black bookstore here.
Mhm.
The community is hungry for this bookstore. That's the first thought. They're hungry for this bookstore. We have to build it.
Mhm.
And then the other thought would be, well, if they wanted this, somebody else would have done it a long time ago. The community obviously does not want a Black bookstore. So how do you decipher the thoughts and figure out which one it is?
Yeah,
If they don't
I
want it,
was born in May. I'm a stubborn knucklehead.
I
I
love
don't
it.
believe that's true, right? I don't believe Black people, as creative and intelligent as they are, just sat down and said, for 4 decades, we don't want to read, right? I think that we, in that specific case, it's the models. The models for bookstores tell you go to places that have these three characteristics. One, you want to have a high literacy rate. So that you go to a place that really doesn't need you. Two, you go to a place that's growing. So it tends to deviate from small cities, small towns. So that's why you have a bunch of them in Brooklyn, New York, in LA, but not in your rural towns, right? And third, and this is the part that's really something we need to be mindful of, is they try to get us to go to places with high medium income, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we know that income and literacy, those kind of go hand in hand, right? A literate population tends to perform well, do well in school, do well in career. And so our population, the way it's set up, is almost doomed to failure and never get a bookstore based on the models. Back to where I said I'm stubborn. I think I need to go where I'm needed, right? And not go where I can instantly make all the money, and to think that Black people don't want that. I don't believe that. And I believe there are cities like Petersburg across America that are looking for someone to take a chance on that city because it's readers that are underserved.
I'm so glad to hear you say that, because there is a phrase that grates on me like nails on a chalkboard. It's the phrase "Black people don't." You can fill the rest
Fill
of
it
this
in whatever.
with whatever you want. Whenever I hear "Black people don't," my mind automatically turns off.
Yep.
And so that's the reason why I asked you about the two competing schools of thought, because it's so easy to have said Black people in this area don't want a bookstore, or Black people in this
Right.
area don't read, so why even bother? When I first became an author, I had people say Black people don't read. Why do you even want to bother writing books for Black people? Or why do you want to sell books in this town? Because this is the bottoms, Black people don't read. And it's totally not true. I think sometimes we put ourselves into a box when we do things. Not even sometimes. We do put ourselves in a box when we say things like that. So for you to fight against that thinking, and to move forward, and to say, well, I'm just stubborn, I'm going to do it anyway. I don't think you're stubborn. I think that you just fought against the grain, and it worked for you.
Yeah, and I faced that when we had Black Men Read as well, right? In a lot of circles, and sometimes in our own community, if we could talk about it, we dismiss Black men as not having a readership either, right? So not only do we have a Black male book club that's been thriving since the pandemic, those are brothers who are from across the country. We even have a couple that's in the UK. They're convening every week to read, every month to read together. And just to kind of give you like a flavor for how things go, we're meeting together with a female book club this month, this Sunday, hopefully, the snow being what it's going to be on the East Coast. But we're reading Kennedy Ryan, right? So we're reading a romance book with Black men and with Black women together. So the thought that any of those fill in the blanks that you said are applicable to Black people, we got to stop accepting that idea, first of all. And two, we got to stop saying it. The power of the tongue is still there, and stop casting that on ourselves, because I think we do have a ton of people who are just unsparked, right? There's a fire that's waiting to be fed. And if we feed into it, I really don't care what any other community says about us, but I want us to stop doing it to ourselves, right?
Exactly.
I think we'll be fine if we have that self-identity, self-belief in ourselves, and for our authors and writers, because if we spark the readers, then they will become writers. They will start to think of writing and getting their story out, and it just feeds on itself.
So what was your like profession before you opened the bookstore?
So I got a marketing degree in undergrad, and then I went into project management, believe it or not, for a manufacturing company. I was trying to fix problems and things like that, but I got good at it. And so they were saying, okay, well, now can you teach somebody to do it? And I got into this like learning and development track. When I left corporate America, which is my last year, May of 2025, I left as a chief learning officer, vice president, chief learning officer for the manufacturing company. So my job was to teach executives, to have classes about leadership and communications, things like that. I also led the DEI initiatives at my company, and I just decided that, all right, I did enough for corporate America. Let me do it for my community.
Love.
Well, so you do this bookstore full time now?
Full time.
Oh, okay. So you open 6 days a week, or
We open 7 days a week now. So
7 days a
yeah,
week?
we have we're in that third year. So this is the year to test and prove. Anybody that's a business owner that's watching this knows that eventually you got to start churning some profits, right? And so third year, we're looking for a really profitable year. We have a ton of author events, author engagements, book festival coming up our second year.
You have a couple of events coming up.
Absolutely. We have we've been trying something new and different, right? So as we're talking online, there's folks that engage with us, but they don't live in our city. And so we have authors that come into our space, and we haven't been, live streaming that. So let's just say Dr. Lawson comes and she's got a fantastic book and comes to our store. Well, the only people that would see that would be the people that came in the door. Well, now what we're trying to do is either record it or live stream it out, so that way you can participate, you can see it. And if we do it live, then you can participate live. Now, we're also doing it where, say, Dr. Lawson lives in California. Well, she's not going to come all the way to Petersburg. As much as she would love to come all the way to Petersburg, Virginia, right? That's a lot. That's money, and usually especially for independent authors or smaller authors, that's a lot of money. And so what we're trying to do is we'll do the live stream version of it so our online audience can see it. But let's have a watch party in the store, so that way local people can convene, get a signed copy of the book, because maybe you send some book plates and things like that. But just finding different ways to bring those authors, quote unquote, into our customers without necessarily having to have travel. We could be better and smart about that.
Very creative.
Very good. Now, do you do the business by yourself, or do you have partners or family that helps?
Just me.
Just you. Okay.
Yeah. So, right now it's 9:30 on East Coast. I got a couple more things I got to wrap up, and I'll be up until 2:00. But
so, are you at your store now, or you're at home?
No, this is my my home.
Oh, okay.
Home office.
Okay. I didn't know if you were still at the.
No. We got to put the babies to bed. I got a 5 and a 3-year-old.
Okay. Yeah.
5 and 4 now. He was 6 and 4 soon, but
okay.
I got littles. Try to be there when they go to bed, or at least spend some time before they go to sleep, and then I'll do the same thing in the morning.
Oh,
that's great.
I love the balance. Being intentional about family time versus business time.
Trying to. I would love to say I'm 100% balanced. I am not. I'm trying to do better about that. It's good to have a good accountability partner, my wife, to say, look, we're a little out of tilt here. What can we do to fix that? And, they're being very patient as well, but trying to help with that. To that point, I don't know if you guys have been sharing what you're reading. There's a brother, and I want to suggest this for any other brothers who are watching this. Jarrell Caraballo. Caraballo spelled Caraballo. Something that's been transformative for me. He has a book series, and he's going to kill me for promoting his book on here when it's supposed to be my interview. But Self-Care for Black Men is the first one. It's
Okay.
100 Ways to Heal
Look,
and
I got it
Liberate.
for my boyfriend. I
I've
haven't.
It's
seen I've seen it.
Yeah.
it's a really good book.
Okay.
It's 100 ways, but it's like a page each,
Okay.
and it will chop you up because there's some stuff in there that it's going to call you out. It's going to say, hey, we're going to work on this, but it's done in a soft way, right? It's not accusatory. It's not making you feel guilty. And then he has another one. This is where I'll be interviewing him during that version that I mentioned. He's not here,
Okay.
so I'll do it
During your
virtually. But
event.
mindful meditations for Black men. So how can
Okay.
we take time, like you were talking about balance, and really try to restore our mind, body, and spirit?
Yeah, that's great. You know, in fact, I'm not sure. I don't remember who did it, but somebody actually gave me a whole stack of those books for the Black History Month Literary Weekend a few years ago. And we were able to give those books to a number of our attendees at our brunch. So a number of our attendees were able to get that book. And my boyfriend was one of the people who got that book. It's a great book.
It's
And,
good. It's really approachable. You don't have to be a heavy reader. You don't have to have a doctorate to read it. And this is also something I would encourage. If you have a male in your life that's got the book, as the female in his life, I would read it too, because we also suggested that for our self-care for Black women, that the men read it. And that way you can look and see things that the woman in your life is struggling with. And what can you do as the person in their life to help them or make space for them or keep them accountable to themselves? So, for example, one of the self-care for Black women point was they feel guilty about taking time for themselves. Well, you can, as my husband, I can guard that time, right? I can say, I'm not going to let you back out of this. I'm not going to let you feel guilty about it. I got it. I'm going to take care of all this part so that way you can actually, in a healthy way, detach from your responsibilities and not feel bad. I can't control how you feel, but I can at least be participatory and supportive in that moment. The same thing is in there for the Black men. There's things that we are not healing from, we're not addressing, and maybe there's something that you can do as the person in their life to help with that. I think that helps us with reading too, right? We got these great books and we need to read them and absorb them, but doing them together is always better.
Absolutely.
Now I can relate to where you are somewhat. Because my husband and I had a bookstore for 10 years.
Oh man.
And
I'm looking forward to getting to 10. Look.
And we did it together. It was both of us working full time. And we started online. So it was
That's where I
when the
started.
internet first took off. So we were only online first, but together. And then we decided to open a brick and mortar. So we were shipping and having people coming in the door. We were having events. It was 6 days a week. We took Sunday off.
Took Sunday off. Yeah.
But it was 5 years before we could take a vacation. I'm 5 years. And
I will say this: I'm not gonna make it to 5.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying,
and be married.
This is what happens when you have a business sometimes. But we were doing it together, so it was different from
that's right. So that's the difference, right? So you and your husband were in the business. You got to talk
every day.
Eat lunch together,
we were
things
together,
like that.
And people ask me, how do you work with your husband every day? I was with my husband every day of every week, every day of the week, all day. We were together in the business and at home. So, and we've been married 33 years. So the thing is, you have to like your spouse.
Oh yeah.
I mean, love, but like, you have to like your spouse. And
right.
We were doing different things for the business. So we weren't competing. It wasn't a clash. He was
my wife and I are really good about, like, when we feel like we get on each other's nerves, we're still in frame, but we in our corners, right? So
sometimes you have to, do something that you enjoy doing.
That's right.
And then you reconvene, so to speak.
Yeah, we know how to
whatever that looks
give
like.
some space, right?
Yeah, whatever that looks like. You're still individuals. You're married. You're one, but you're still individuals.
Yeah,
So,
and I also got to remember, I'm a lot. I'm a lot to handle.
and you got growing kids. Now, when we had a child too, but we only had one. And
Yeah.
so she spent a lot of time at the store.
Right.
When he picked her up from school, she came to the store. So
That's
she
right.
was there doing her homework. And so you make
It was a
things
family
work.
business.
Whatever you have to make work, you make it work. And it
I got a great support network. My mom lives with us. My sister lives with us. And so I have a village in the house.
Family. That's wonderful.
It's a true family affair.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's wonderful. Now, we don't have that much time left, but how big is Petersburg population wise?
I think we're about 35,000.
Oh, it's a small. Okay,
It's small.
I didn't know how big it was, but you said it's 85% Black.
It's
Did
changing,
I hear
but
you say that?
it's about 85%.
Oh, I never knew that. I knew
It's a Black city, right?
Okay, I knew a family of people from Petersburg. They don't live there now, but they had deep roots there. Their last name was Bodie, Boddie.
Okay.
And they were like 3 generations in Petersburg. But then they moved to Newport News. So, that's where, the parents are deceased now, like my parents. But our parents were like the best of friends. So I grew up with them. But they spent a lot of time in Petersburg because of that. So that was a while back, though. They're kind of scattered now because once
Very good.
your parents pass away, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
home isn't the home it was. So you have to.
Petersburg is full of beautiful people. So I wish, I'm hoping that the city grows and does all the wonderful things, and these people who have been here and been the soul of the city continue to benefit from it.
Well, congratulations to you. For a lot of people talk about doing things, but you executed what you were talking about, and
we're still fighting. It's a tough industry, right? Things keep changing, but I feel like we have some really good author friends. We got some good publisher friends. We got bookstore alliances. I think we got the elements. If they can just stop these government shutdowns, they could, all the things that mess up strategy that you have no control over. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll win.
There's a lot of things. We always added, we sold more than books. So I don't know if you're there yet, but we found a very good clientele among the Divine Nine people.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you're interested in any merchandise like that you could put in your store, DM me. I know manufacturer people who are in that industry that you could test some things out to see. That's a really good niche. And Rhonda is a Divine Nine member. I'm not, but
make sure you get licensed.
Oh, see, when we did it, the license thing wasn't an issue.
They're a lot more strict on the license.
That's true. But the people I know are licensed. They're on the up and up. I'm not going to refer to anybody.
They're not selling those bootleg Obama shirts outside. No, we have we will not survive if we do anything against, because the Divine Nine organizations have been really supportive. We have Victoria Christopher Murray from she's a Delta. She'll be in town, and the local organizations have been great. AKAs, they meet as a book club in our store. Things like that have been really helpful.
Okay, so you've tapped into the community.
Yeah,
and we know Victoria very well. We've known her since she got started.
Vinyl is our big sideline now. We sell vinyl in the store.
Vinyl kind of went away for a minute, but then it came back.
That's back.
Yeah. So anyway, Demetrius, thank you for being a guest on the show. Congratulations
so much for having me.
Store. And who knew you were a Raider, That's our school mascot, the Raiders. Did you know? Here's some trivia before you go. Did you know they used to be the Farmers? Did you know that?
I did know that. I did.
Okay, you did know that.
I would have got
Way
that on
back.
the Jeopardy if I got that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, they changed that name. The mascot name. That was
Every time I go back there, that place looks so different. So I don't know what it looks like now.
I haven't been because I've been in Houston a long time,
Oh, yeah.
for many years. So anyway, have a great night and congratulations. And if there's anything that we can do to help you with your store, just send me a message or an email. If I
will
can
definitely do that.
I'll do it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay.
Thank you for being a great night.
Okay, well, that's it for this week. And we had another amazing episode of the show. And Rhonda, we have every show booked through the end of February.
Awesome.
Every single show is completely booked for the next 6 weeks. So, and we have some great guests coming up. So anyway, we will see you next Tuesday on another episode of Black Authors Matter TV. I'm Gwen Richardson signing off.
And I'm Dr. Rhonda Lawson. Have a wonderful evening and a great week.
Thank you for tuning in and join us next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern for another edition of Black Authors Matter TV.